this fall, it's finally time to do my last chores of the season. Probably for the next week or so, I'll be doing my final mow. I'm in the the Midwest in zone 7A. I'm nearing my first frost. So what I'll be doing is cutting the grass down one notch lower than I usually have it set to my lawnmower, which for me, I keep mine set on the highest level. So I'll just be going down one notch. I'll be trimming down all my plants that seed prolifically, which are a couple of my asters, like this one here, that still has some flowers on it for the bees. And I will also be trimming down the sage that seed ridiculously. I've already trimmed down my verbena, which also seed prolifically. This is them there. I actually have two varieties. I have verbena stricta and also verbena hastata. Also got to trim down that, which those are still blooming too. So the bees are still having fun in my yard. So, and it feels great. Today is 62 degrees. I looked at the weather. It's going to be in the 70s tomorrow. The next day it's going to be 78. Then the highs drop down to 50. But it's still feeling good over here. I even still have some coneflower blooming, thanks to the city coming over here whacking down these plants. It gave my coneflower a second set of blooms. My coreopsis is still blooming. And look at this. See my pink mully grass? That's looking beautiful. And I'll also be coming out here and harvesting some seeds off some of these plants. So I'll keep you up to date or updated with what those are going to be. I want the celosia, some seeds for that, but it hasn't gone to seed yet. That's still looking good. It is surprisingly excellent. It feels excellent out here. Oh, and also, I will be mulching my flower beds with the leaves that are falling, which you can see I've already started doing that, but these leaves will continue to fall. They're not done yet. I have this big tree, which is actually in my neighbor's yard, but it's growing in the sky over my yard. So that's gonna be throwing down a lot of leaves in my yard. There's a couple of more things we've got to do still. We are going to need to put one last application of fertilizer on the grass for the season. The grass will store those nutrients in the roots over winter. And what happens is in the spring, my yard will be one of the first to green up. So that's nice. Got that blanket flower still blooming. Definitely gonna get some seeds from that. Look at them, they're furry. Oh, I'm definitely getting those. And we're gonna have to get all of the hoses that I have sprawled about all over my yard, wind those up, drain them out, put them away for the winter. And my little sprinklers. Yeah, still looking pretty out here. I have similar chores that need to be done in my backyard. I wish I would have pruned my lilac bush sooner because it's too late to do that. But I do have some aggressive spreaders as some aster back here that needs to be trimmed down. Got to keep up with these leaves falling. And all I'll do is throw these leaves on my flower beds. They're gonna be free mulch. And if I have too many, then I'll just put it in my actual compost bin. I'm gonna have to take this terracotta pot in somewhere because it's liable to crack. But other than that, there's not too much to be done. I do have a lot of plants that I grew from seed that I never did plant in the earth. So I may go ahead and put these in pots. Hope these are okay. Some of them are looking extra crispy. But I definitely have a home for this. This is some Joe Pye weed. And as you can see, there's more stuff down there that I want to get to and on the table. So, yeah. We even have a little garden back here. I think this might be the first time you guys even been in my backyard. So welcome to the backyard. Get these hoses up immediately before I trip and break my hip. Yeah, the plants are like, I can't tell it's fall. There's still tomatoes on my tomato plant. Look at that. Can you guys see that? Look at that. And that'll be it. And lastly, we're gonna just do an assessment for the whole yard to see what worked, what didn't, what we want to replace, what we may want to move next year. Welcome to the side of the house. And then we'll use what we come up with to figure out a list of plants that I might want to grow over winter. So, and that'll do it. So, everything is for the most part done. We've only got one plant in one area that I have not trimmed. That is an aggressive cedar that seeds prolifically. That is this aster right here, because it is still blooming. Right. And then there's actually one more, which is my lavender, that's also still blooming, that I did want to trim back. I will trim this back, but I just don't have the heart to do it right now because I saw some bees out there earlier today, so they're still out here getting pollen. So I'm just gonna leave those for my bumble friends and my bee friends. But this is that on that. There are some flowers still blooming, which is kind of crazy because it is the second week of November. Look at that. Still got our blanket flower. We already see the lavenders blooming. We got the celosia, which is an annual, not native here. We've still got that aster blooming. We've got some cornflower blooming. And some of the zinnias are still just starting. That's not even done. We still got some black-eyed Susan. That's actually coreopsis right there. Yellow flowers. Still have some sage over there blooming. We also have, my brain is having a fart in the background. I can't think about it. I'll put on the screen. Some of those are still blooming too. Things even that's blooming also. I forgot what that's called. Put that on the screen. But we definitely have Some black-eyed Susans over here still blooming as well. See? And I got them in a couple of other places in the yard as well. But I think it looks beautiful. So this is basically going to be it. You see our mully grass looking awesome right there. But this is what it's going to look like. You're going to get your fertilizer out in the yard if you haven't already done so. I recommend using something organic. I use Mulching personally. And I'm not going to worry about watering that in. It'll sit here and the snow will push it in as I get snow. But yeah, this is it. I think it looks amazing. We've already had the city come once and do a sweep of the leaves. I'll blow them out again as the leaves fall. But as you can see, there's hardly no leaves left. The only ones are the ones of my neighbors to the right of me that hang above my house. So, yeah. But this is it. Oh, we still have some zinnias still blooming too. This is just crazy. Look at that. But that is that on that. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to share some tips in the comments. I'll be doing some heavy uploading for the rest of December, so be sure to come back and check me out. Do me a favor on your way out and hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next one.